From Illinois reserves. Gentleman from Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentleman's recognized.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And first, let me just thank the gentlelady from Illinois, the ranking member on the subcommittee, for her hard work on the legislation. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to rise in support of H.R. 3388, the Self-Drive Act, which we advanced out of the Energy and Commerce Committee on a unanimous bipartisan vote of 54-0 in July. This compromise legislation aims to improve consumer safety by reducing traffic-related fatalities and injuries, clarify the federal and state roles, and stimulate job growth and economic opportunities. Many of you have heard these roadway safety statistics, but they again bear repeating. Each year, approximately 6 million Americans are involved in car accidents, resulting in nearly 2 million injuries. 94% of the accidents are attributed to human errors or decisions. In 2016, approximately 40,000 people lost their lives on U.S. highways, and sadly, in my home state of Ohio, traffic deaths have been on the rise over the last few years. We have an opportunity today to support and promote the safe testing and deploying of this life-saving technology. U.S. companies are investing major resources in the research and development of this technology and should not be held up by regulatory barriers that were created when self-driving cars were just science fiction. We must act, and we must act now. The Self-Drive Act establishes a streamlined path for testing, development, and deployment of self-driving cars in the United States. While this technology is currently being tested in certain parts of the country, there are limits to who can test and what technology can be used in cars today. Federal motor vehicle safety standards need to be updated because self-driving cars may not have the traditional steering wheels and brake pedals that all cars have today. Additionally, this legislation maximizes opportunities for research and development here in the United States to create jobs and grow economic opportunities so that the United States can remain a global leader in this industry. With this legislation, innovation can flourish without the heavy hand of government. Finally, this legislation will enhance the ability of our senior citizens, the disability community, and individuals in underserved communities to enjoy more mobility and live more independently. This legislation is the first of its kind, focused on the car of the future that is more of a supercomputer on wheels. This issue started with our good friend and colleague, Dr. Burgess, who held the first Disruptor Series hearings on self-driving cars last Congress. Again, we would also not be where we are today if it weren't for the leadership of Chairman Walden and the great working relationship and cooperation of Ranking Member Pallone, Ranking Member Schakowsky, and Representative Dingell, as well as our many co-sponsors. I appreciated your comments, suggestions, and input. We have held multiple hearings, technology showcases, and real-life demonstrations for our committee members to learn about the opportunities and challenge presented by self-driving cars. I also want to acknowledge the stakeholders who have been willing to work with us. The automobile industry is a competitive and vibrant marketplace and touches every congressional district in the country. In the process of drafting and marking up this legislation, we had over 300 meetings with automakers, tech companies, suppliers, their trade association, the disability community, senior state transportation leaders, and last but not least, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Safety should and always will be our #1 priority. We have said and will continue to say safety first, safety last, safety always. I truly believe this bill will make a real difference for everyday Americans. In closing, I want to thank our great staff for their hard work, late nights and weekends to get us to where we are to this historic vote. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I reserve the balance